Good morning. Welcome to Shaman's Corner, day 5 of the inspirational teas. So today's inspirational tea is vanilla chai black. So I like chai tea and it's got a hint of vanilla, but I do feel like it could have some almond milk or milk added into it, and I think it would be really good. Can't have the milk, but I can have the almond milk in it, and it probably would taste really good. Even with a little frothy milk, little foam milk, I think it would be really good. But today, this morning, I'm just drinking it kind of plain. So I think it's just missing something. I could probably add a little bit of cinnamon into it too. And I think the almond milk kind of frothy and sprinkle some cinnamon on it. Oh, I think it would be really good. So this tea it's pretty good. It just needs some added little stuff into it. So today's inspiration tea number 5 is don't stress the could haves. If it should have, it would have. And here's kind of the little picture on it. It's got a little flower on it. I think it's cute. Little heart flower. So don't stress the could haves. If it should have, it would have. And that can be really true. But if you're a perfectionist like me, I stress so much about this one. Sometimes I have an attachment to an outcome when it comes to certain things that I do, and then I kind of stress about it, and nobody knows that it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And so if you don't draw attention to the things, then nobody knows. But when you draw attention to it, then everybody knows. So you kind of got to think about that. Sometimes people will draw attention to the things that didn't go out the way it didn't. Let me rephrase that. So some people will draw attention to the things that they didn't do because they're wanting empathy. I can say this because I've done it. I've done it more than one time. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But it's really hard when, you're first starting out. When I remember when I was reading that inspirational quote this morning, I was thinking about the very first few times when I first started public speaking and talking out in public. If you're just new and learning about me and watching my lectures and videos, you probably wouldn't even recognize that I could not public speak for the longest time, and that people say it comes natural. I just act and behave the way I do. But in the very beginning, it was such a stressful time for me. I was not a public speaker. I did not have having attention on myself. And, now this is something I have to do for my work because this is how I do my work. So when I was thinking about it, I was thinking about the beginnings of lecturing, and I would put an outline and I would have handouts, and I was expecting to read word from that piece of paper and hoping that everybody understood what I was saying. And it was just so structured, and it can be boring. It's like I'm talking at people instead of talking to people. So I changed the way that I started doing things. Once I let go of the control, I started to realize when I'm in a room and I start lecturing, beforehand, I will give, a lot of people will ask when I'm doing events, they will ask me what I want to talk about. So I try to gear whatever I want to talk about to what the overlying event is, why they're gathering together. So if there's a topic about, changing Mother Earth, then it's going to be around the same type of topic. And when I started to do that, I would just get the first title. And I would not necessarily work on the workshop or the lecture at all until maybe a week prior. And I start to have dreams, or I start to have visions before the lecture started working. So then I kind of understood, all right, this is kind of the way the room is going to be when I get there. This is the type of people who's going to be there. Even though the event person thinks there's going to be tons of people there, sometimes I can gauge and feel there ain't going to be that many people there. There are going to be, maybe half of what they say there's going to be there. And that's kind of how it started in the beginning. But then as I started doing it more often, then I started to recognize that the less control that I have, the more the people would tend to come. And the less that I had an attachment to an outcome and was willing to be flexible and adapt to the situation, that it was even better than what I envisioned. So instead of going from the beginning where I structured, had outlines and handouts, and even some of the people nowadays will ask me, well, are you going to have handouts? And I would say no. And they were like, are you sure? A lot of people want to have, handouts and be able to, I was like, no, because my lectures and workshops, I like them to be interactive. I like them to have fun and enjoy. If they're sitting all day through lectures and workshops, they're at some point going to be kind of, not focused and not centered. And it can feel like overwhelming for people to come in by the time I'm talking. So I get them up moving, and I get them up, connecting and with each other. I ground them, get them all centered, and then we start talking. And we have interactive, experiences to display my point that I'm trying to make. So once I did that, then it started to be bigger. My lectures got even bigger. And it was really interesting because sometimes when I have a topic, I think this is what I'm going to start talking about, but I can really feel a room, and I can intuitively pick up on people's thoughts. Like, people will have questions, and I will start just answering it even the moment I start to feel that question, and then I will answer that. And at the end of the lecture, I always ask, is there any questions? And everybody's like, nobody's hands rose. Nobody raised their hand. So then I'm like, sure, no questions? They're like, yeah, you really answered all our questions. Even the questions that I thought I was going to have, and then all of a sudden you answer them. So it was my big lesson on learning about, this inspirational quick. Don't stress the could haves. If it should have, it would have. So when you think about that, it's one of those life lessons that we learn as we get older through experiences, that not have an attachment. Because if we have a strong attachment to something, we become very disappointed. And it's all about our personal growth. We have to learn that we can't control other people. We can't control the situation or the event. We can't control Mother Nature when something gets rained out, or can't control us having a flat on the way somewhere. We can't control another person who had an argument with somebody else and comes in as being a little, nitpicky, or, very short-tempered. We can only control ourselves, and we can only control how we adapt to situations from moment to moment. So this little tea box was a really good topic to talk about. Monday's topic will be when someone says you can't do it twice and take pictures. Oh, I like that one. That's going to be fun. Here's the cover. It's a pretty little blue flower. Bye.